Yeah. Whoop. Welcome back to the backyard. I'm Jeff, and this is a rope ladder, which can be a very versatile piece of backyard play equipment for you and your family. And whether it's part of a ninja course, a tree house, or even just used as a swing, there's plenty of things you can do with one. GoPro, stop recording. But if you're gonna go buy one brand new, it's about 25 bucks by itself, which isn't too bad, but in times like these, I'm sure you're trying to look for ways to save money for your family, so I'm gonna show you how you can build one yourself for a fraction of that cost, maybe even with things you have lying around your house already. So let's go. So for this build, you're gonna need two things. You're gonna need some rope and something to use as the wooden rungs. Now this is rope I had around my yard already. I would value this as about $250 worth of rope. And then the wooden rungs, you could pick up 1-inch in diameter dowels at your local home improvement store, and they're gonna run you about $5 each for a 4-foot length, which you could cut down to 4 pieces. You're probably gonna want 8, so you're gonna need 2, so that's gonna be about $10. But if you're like me and you have either some trees around or you live in the woods where trees literally grow like weeds, I bet you have some wood around. Right here we have my kindling pile, where I'm cutting it up to burn in my wood stove this winter, and I've got plenty of pieces that are already the perfect length, so that's what we're gonna use. The next thing we gotta do is cut this rope. How did that not cut? Oh, it's stuck. There we go. That cut it. I cut it into 2 15-foot lengths because I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with this, and I want to make sure that it's long enough. But if you're going to try to build a basic 8-rung rope ladder, you're probably going to need about 10, 11 feet. As you tie knots in it, it's going to shrink up, so you're going to want a little bit longer. But then it's also going to stretch some, so it's kind of a fine line you gotta walk. And also this rope was rated for load bearing up to 130 pounds. So since there's 2 strands, that should hypothetically be 260, I think. I'm not an expert on rope strength. This might be a little bit borderline. So just use caution and common sense. Take a saw and just put a little notch in it. Just something that the rope can rest in and bite into, and you're not gonna have to worry about it sliding off the end as you're climbing. Next, we're going to tie this off to whatever your ladder is going to be attached to. Now in my case, I'm just tying it to this longer rung because I want this to be able to move around to different locations. But if you're tying it off to something specific because you want it to be stationary, tie it off to that instead. So we're gonna take the rope, we're gonna loop it around there, then we're going to go under the rope, over the rope like this, and then around one more time like this, and then loop over this way once more, and then back up through both of these circles, and then pull that down tight. And what that'll do is that'll make a knot that tightens down, and then you'll be able to slide it up to the top, and then that is not going to go anywhere. So we're going to make the loop, but now we're going to take the top part, I think, and cross it, and then put that through. Pull that through, and then put that in there like that with our notch. So now we're going to do our other side. This is where it gets tricky because you want it to be about the same length down the rope. You don't want your rungs to be too uneven. See what we look like here. Get that nice and tight, and then move that up. Grab your next rung. That worked out pretty close. Both ropes are right towards the end. All right, now we got the whole thing tied off. Now I'm gonna take it up to the tree fort, show you why this longer piece is going to help us hang it wherever we want. So here's what we're gonna do. We got this longer one at the top. Now check this out. We can loop this between here, and now take the end. Actually, I might put it up higher at first. Take the ends, put them through like this. Come on, there we go. All right, so now that is hooked off on itself. Once you put weight on it, that's when it's really gonna cinch down tight. So let's see if this will work for me, as heavy as I am. Yeah, whoop. So I made it up and try it in some other spots and see how that works, but it did hold up. Next, let's see if this will allow us to affix it to our ninja line here, just like we did earlier. being taller, this is less than ideal. Well, if we come up a few steps, get our legs through there. Yeah, that could work. Nice swing. Should have done this first. We just hooked it to the side there so that I can get all those knots nice and tight without falling if something goes wrong. That sound was it cinching down. Actually, nope, that sound was the string breaking. Well, that kind of puts a damper on things, doesn't it? I should mention that this string has been sitting out in our woods for 2 years, so this is not brand new rope. But obviously I'm not going to climb that. What to do? What to do? I'm definitely not going to climb up on that because one of the strands is broken through, and this is not the ideal rope. So that's about it for that. But at the end of the day, the design worked. The problem is I shouldn't have used rope that's been exposed to the elements for 2 years, and probably something that's a little bit sturdier than this. So if you do that, you should be good. But no matter what you do, whether you're doing something homemade or you're doing something store-bought, always supervise your kids when they're playing outside, when they're climbing up off the ground. You just always want to be safe. And another good takeaway from this is always inspect your equipment. Luckily I did that and didn't try to climb this because that could have ended in disaster. So yeah, so this video didn't go exactly the way I thought it would. But if you want to see what this rope was doing exposed to the elements for 2 years, check out this video up here. And until next time, get out there in your backyard, be safe, but have a fun-sized adventure of your own.